Thank you for joining us this evening. This is Michael Winiger, CEO of Sante Organics. And tonight, Tuesday nights, we talk about the business. Thursday nights, we highlight some of the products we have here at Asante Organics. But tonight, we're going to talk about three things. Okay. And it's called Z3 for that reason, because this is such a powerful, powerful trio. Now, if you're watching and you got a full screen and I'm speaking and you see me, then go into wherever your participants are and go on Lisa's picture, which is under Workman's, and you'll see three dots up in the corner. And I want you to press on those three dots and then pin it. So all you see is Lisa. Because what we're going to do today is we're going to focus. I'm going to tell the backstory of this product, and you're going to watch what's going to happen to Lisa as we use this product properly. So first, let's start out with, well, what is Z3? Well, Z3 is a certified organic, 100% chemical free, and 100% toxic free, all plants, skincare line, but extremely, extremely powerful. I'm going to tell you why I'm so in love with this patented product, because, when we study the aging process in human beings, right? Every time, look, it happened to Lisa. The sun goes around the planet, you have another birthday, right? And then you're another year older biologically. But that doesn't mean you have to look another year older. And it's one of the biggest studies that's been going on and still going on, and it's still happening, in science at a medical level. It's happening at an institutional level, and it's at the height of the cosmetic research industry. Is truly, how could we reverse or maybe even stop aging? Is it possible? I mean, what we look like, right? And so I'm going to talk about a couple mechanisms that take place in aging so that we don't just jump into everything and throw it into one big basket. I want you to understand some processes, right? And and then you'll be able to understand not only how we can stop the aging process on the outside, but we can actually reverse it. So let's understand aging, right? So where the skin is always repairing itself and the body is always degrading itself, well, with what? With time, with exposure to the sun, with lifestyle, with environment. There's a lot of different things, but that is not what causes aging. Okay. Those are just contributing factors that are involved in the aging process, but that's not really what causes the aging process. What causes the aging process is a protein that's in all of our bodies, and it's called progerin. And it's a protein. It's a progerin protein. And if you look at oh, Deb.
At Magnolia Plantation and Gardens tells.
All right, Deb, we gotta mute yourself there. You can't be talking about your plants. All right.
Only Michael talks about plants.
Yes, I'll talk about them, not the magnolias. But anyway, so we have this protein called the protogen protein, okay? And it's in all of our bodies. And what it does is it works from the level of DNA. That's what's responsible for how you look from an aging process, right? So you got this protein. And if you think of this game like when we were kids called Pac-Man, right? Chomp, 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 chomp. So what this protein does from a level of DNA is it attacks, there's a specific place on your DNA that's responsible for aging. And the protein starts getting active as we get older, and it gets really aggressive. So, and if you want to know like how it all works, think about it. You can look at a person that's 50 years old and they look like they're 35. You could look at a person that's 50 years old and they look like they're in their late 70s. That's because this protein is attacking the DNA a lot faster than somebody else that looks younger. And remember, all these other outside things are contributing factors, but what happens is we have a really good example of how this protogen protein works as well is you see these little children. It's a rare disease called progeria, and they age. Like by the time they're 10 or 12 years old, they look like they're in their 90s. They don't live long. But that's so that's the protein that we all have. It's just out of control. And it's a rare disease, but it's out of control in those kids, right? So now we got this happening to us. It's all going to start at a different age. All right. But guess what? There's help. There's help, right? And how this basically works is there's 3 plant peptides in all 3 of these products. Now, you don't have to use all 3, but if you want to get within 90 seconds, take 5 to 10 years off your looks, then you're going to add the facelift. And that's a temporary fix, but it'll hold for 12 to 14 hours in a day. And not only does it hold, after a certain amount of time, you don't have to use it anymore. And then it just stays, because we'll talk about how that basically works. So what happens? All right, so we got this protogen and protein eating away at our DNA. Now comes in the Z3, all right? And when we apply the Z3 to our skin, all right, and on Lisa, we're just going to do half the face. We're going to go from the cheekbone up, just all the way over to the hairline, all right? So what basically happens is there's a peptide, a plant peptide, that's in this product that the minute it's applied, now remember, everything's going to get into your bloodstream in 26 seconds and into the major organs in 5 to 8 minutes. So this stuff works really fast. So immediately this peptide absorbs, gets right down to the level of DNA and puts up a wall. It isolates, it puts up a barrier between the protogen protein and your DNA. So it actually blocks it. So the minute you start using this, it creates this wall. And now this is stuck. It can't get to the DNA anymore. So what's happening is it's this peptide is blocking the matrix metaproteinases that digest, that this wants to start digesting on the DNA, but because there's a wall and it's isolated, well, guess what? It stops it. So it stops that aging process of the skin that's actually breaks down your tissue. So now it's here. It's blocked by just using this product, okay? We're going to do it in a certain order here in a second, all right? We're going to talk about that. And then, so, the net effect now is that the aging process, the peptides are called OXY28. So that's O2XZ28. That is the 3 peptides combined. That's what they call these 3 peptides, right? And that's what we call these 3 peptides. So it's blocking this enzyme, and that's required for the aging process. So it's not even happening now, that breaks down the tissue of your skin. And remember, your skin will shed itself every 28 to 36 days. So we're not worried about the skin that's leaving you. We're worried more about what's coming up, because we'll talk about that in a second, okay? So now the net effect is that the negative aging process, right, the Oxy-28 blocks the destructive proteases. And now the second peptide, the healing curve, the healing takes over and turns that curve into a positive direction. So there's a second peptide that when it gets absorbed into your skin, gets down to the DNA. So we got this one peptide that's blocking the protogen. And then you got a second peptide that actually starts repairing the part of the DNA that was damaged. It starts repairing it. So you actually improve your age by blocking these deep, deep aging proteins, which is the protogens, okay? And so the Oxy-28, the plant enzymes, is an awesome mechanism that'll help you improve the aging process. But the third peptide, I think, is my favorite because it comes from a very rare tree in Switzerland. And I'll tell you a little backstory on that tree, just because we're here tonight. And that is, let's just say, when we were kids, well, we're the same age, me and Lisa were dating. And we went into the woods. And we were at this tree. And I took out my little pocket knife and I put on there, Mike and Lisa. Within 3 hours, the tree heals itself and you can't see it anymore. It's quick. It's unbelievable. And what's crazy about that peptide is that it's biomimetic. So this particular peptide, this mimetic peptide, is designed from plants and it's bioidentical to the same peptide in your own body. It is exact. It's an exact match. And it's a match of what the body produced when it was younger. So it works with the mother cell. So as your skin is exfoliating and falling off, what happens, your skin works like this. Within every 28 to 38 days, boom, it splits. Mother cells turn into two daughter cells, and then we see what's on the outside. So it's going to move up, split, move up, split, move up, and split. Just like if you had, how your hair grows or anything for that matter, right? So now what happens is this peptide starts communicating with the mother cell. And it's basically saying this, hey, do you feel that? You got no more stress anymore because we blocked that protein from destroying your DNA. But you know why you even feel better? Because we're repairing it. We're repairing it to the way it used to be when you were younger. So what we want you to do, it's basically, creating not muscle, but, memory, a memory system, mother cell memory systems, right? So this mother cell, it's basically communicating, saying, look, we want you to split the way you used to do when you were in your 20s and 30s. And guess what? Here's the magic. It does. So now the strongest biomimetic peptides, the Oxy-28, we're the only ones that got it. We created it. We found it. We put them together. So it took us a long time. There's patents on this, right? So now you got Oxy-28 in the marketplace in the most popular, effective moisturizing system in the world, which is the Z3. So you're going to get permanent skin rejuvenation that will not revert. So as long as you're using this, it's never going to go back and look that way again. And you will take literally 5 to 15 years off your looks. But we didn't stop there. So we added some other things. One thing that we added was red algae. It's rare, but we put it in there because it does a couple things. So once it's applied and it absorbs or stimulates into the skin, okay, the free radical scavenging capacities is crazy, right? It's 6,000 times more powerful compared to vitamin C, 1,000 times more powerful compared with vitamin E. 17,000 times more powerful than collagen, right? This is your collagen. You're going to put it inside you. It's from with plants, right? 800 times stronger than compared to CoQ10. It's 1,800 times stronger than compared to nitric oxide, right? 3,100 times stronger compared to natto, which is the most powerful Japanese herb for anti-aging. 700 times compared to OPCs. Those are your OPCs actually protect you, your oxygen, it's for oxygen and stuff, and it protects against your various external damages. Like, it's a really strong antioxidant. So it's like it has those effects. So it protects you from UV rays and from things, UV rays coming off, from the sun, from your computer, from your phones, right? It's 110 times more powerful compared to beta carotene, 1,100 times more powerful than the nucleic acid, which is a DNA protection device. That's huge, right? 1,800 times more than lipocene. What is that? An antioxidant, right? 800 times more compared to, Keratol, 320 times compared to T polyphenols. Those are antioxidants, right? Those are anti-inflammatory properties that protect against cancers, okay? And the moisturizing properties as well. It creates awesome skin barriers. It's unbelievable. And what makes red algae great in skincare too? Dry skin. And it helps to rejuvenate your complexion. Additionally, it helps to reduce the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles all by itself. And here you got it in with these 3 powerful peptides, and by preserving and moisturizing in your skin to make it look more vibrant. And we're going to show you how to do it now. And this is what we do. And so if you watched me, then go to Lisa's picture and pin her up here so you watch her. And I'm gonna tell her what to do. I'm gonna tell her how we're gonna do this, and we're gonna do it on this part of the face, and then we're gonna look at something all together. And then when we're done with this, you go out there and you tell me you can find something better than this. Again, do you want to use toxic chemicals linked to crazy long-term health consequences? Nobody would use those chemicals. You wouldn't put it on your kids. Why would you put it on yourself? Or would you use plants that nourish and heal the body? So let's watch how this works. So how we're going to start with this is you're going to just, like we did the one time, just do the quarter of the face.
Eye cream.
We're going to start with the eye cream. So we put the eye cream on first, everybody. And you can also do this. So while she's doing that, I'm going to talk. So there's the eye cream. She's going to put it on. And you can do this like you can do, I forgot what I was going to say now. But you can do this on anybody on their particular, on what we're doing tonight, because this is crazy when you see what happens here.
And if it gets in the eye, it's okay, right?
Yeah, because it's plants, right? So you're doing the eyelid, you're doing all the way up to the hairline and to the back. And then what you're going to do is you're going to let that sit for about 15 seconds just to get a little bit of a drying. We're going to time something here because it's important that we time it. Okay. And okay. So now next thing we're going to do, same thing. We're going to put on the repairing cream. That's the big one. All right. So while she's going to do that, I'm going to tell everybody this, that when you see her hold it back, when we do this facelift, so as she's putting this on, she's going to take the flat of her hand. She's going to pull back and lift up nice and firmly. And then the minute you pull back and lift up, you can't move it around. So you can't smile, you can't talk, you can't do anything. Sit there and meditate. Sit there and meditate for about 90 seconds. Okay. So once we got the repair cream on, now what we're going to do is we're going to give that about 15 seconds again. And you can do this over makeup, ladies and guys. I mean, not that guys are wearing makeup, but yeah. And now we're going to do the same thing. You're going to watch her do the same thing with the actual face serum. That's the facelift. Okay. And this is where the magic comes in. We're going to get that on top, just like we did just from the cheekbone up to the hairline, over the eyes, the eyelid, the eyelid, the eyebrow. We're gonna put it all the way up to the top. And then I'll talk when it's time. You tell me when you think it's on, and we're gonna pull back and lift up.
Is
Really
it a
high.
little moist when I do that, Michael?
Huh?
Is it still just a little bit
Yeah,
moist?
yep.
Okay.
Okay, flat of your hand, backing up with the eyebrow. Perfect. Good. One time, hold it. Get it nice and far back and as up as you can, and just hold it there. And when you guys do this, now while she's holding that, you're going to hold that for 90 seconds. And when it's time for her to take it off, she's just going to peel her hand backwards towards her hair. But the thing is it's really important because this works with plant enzymes. Plant enzymes work like a screen door or a screen on your window. They're going to hold, and they're that shape, right? So that's why it's important not to move or make facial expressions or anything, and just sit there and relax, because if you move it around, it might look worse, because it's kind of like noodled up spaghetti. It'll get that way and it'll clump up. But doing it this way, we've done this before. So we got about 30 seconds left here. And imagine, I'm going to tell you a story while we're waiting. I went to a home show. I borrowed a lady's booth for 1 hour, just a corner. And just by doing what I did this right here, like this, within 1 hour, I sold 200 units of all three products. And I only wanted to stay there an hour. And I paid the lady for using her booth all the money, because I wanted her to get involved in the company. And I'll tell you what, after she saw this happen, it all did that. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to peel it back real slow. Okay. Just lift up, and I'll look into the screen, and you tell me, people, if you don't, no, get back a little bit. Go back.
Okay.
There. Now look at her eyebrow. That eyebrow is lifted up at least a half inch higher than her other eyebrow. And usually you can get them to go up an inch. And why don't you tell them what it feels like now that you put the facelift on?
I feel I feel it feels different. I can totally feel it. It's tighter, and I can feel the lift. My eye is, I don't know, it's hard to see a little bit on the camera, but my eye is more open too. I'm trying to look straight at it, straight at the camera. It smells really good too, but it feels so,
Tight.
it just feels so clean, and
Right.
I know it is. But this under here, okay, it's this side, you guys. I don't know if you can see how smooth it is.
Yeah, you can see, I can, just basically from what I'm seeing, I can see it smoothed out underneath your cheekbone other than the other side. That's what it
Mhm.
looks like to me. What do you think? You're sitting right there.
Mhm.
I can see it. I can see that it's, oh yeah, I can see it smoother under your right eye on my
Good.
left side. Absolutely. And it's not as dark either. The circle's a lot brighter. Like your under eye is brighter. Yeah.
Yeah, and anybody else, if you want to say anything, go right ahead. Or if you want to ask any questions.
I want to look. Oh my gosh. It looks so good.
Right. So
In
guys,
person, it's so nice.
I will tell you this. When the word gets out that this is on the street, right? And you can get this stuff, and this will last you about 6 weeks, probably 6 weeks with all three of these, because you don't need a lot of it because it's plants and it's really concentrated. Now, what do you think's going to happen when you can do that? And you can do that with anybody. You could have, like, have people come on over and call it whatever you want. And facelift party, whatever the case might be. And when you can change somebody's looks like that, and the thing is I mean, it's going to look different on everybody. And if you get to my Facebook page and you actually see, you know what? I'm going to get up. Lisa, go ahead, talk a little bit. Tell them what.
Well, I read today that you can do it. First of all, it's supposed to last 12 hours, and you can do it over your you're supposed to do it over your makeup. This last one. do it over your makeup, but it said that you can do it a second time. And I just was introduced to this. Like Michael taught me how to do it. I'm gonna actually try
So
it
we
again
have this brochure,
and see if I can lift it more.
and this is Claire. Look at what happened to her. This is her first application. Okay. So if you can see that, when you can do that to somebody in 90 seconds, let me
Mhm.
tell you, that's huge stuff. Okay. So we got these little, these cards, right? And tells you all about it, how it works, how the aging process works, how it rebuilds. These are great to hand out. But when you can get that effect right there, or what Lisa's got, I'm going to tell you what, who wouldn't want to be doing that? And then after a while, you don't have to hold that anymore.
I did it a second time. I want to see. I'm
Oh,
going to lift my eyebrow even more.
all right. So guys, it's kind of like after, let's just say a year goes by. I'm going to give you this example. And Lisa, for some reason, I don't know anybody who would say stop doing it. I would do it. I use it every day since we brought it out. So here's the thing. But if somebody said, I'm just not, I'm going to stop now. Well, guess what? You don't go back to looking the way you did. Claire's not going to go back looking like this. Now she's going to start aging where you left off. So if you took 10 years really off your looks, it's unbelievable. And when I did this with a lady that was 75, and I gave it to her at the office. She came in and purchased it, and we did it at the office. And a week goes by, and she asked me to meet her at up here at the country club, right? Private country club. And so we were just talking. She didn't have me meet her because of this, but she only did one half of her side of her face for a whole week. And this one lady came out and turned around and went, Liz, said her name and said, "Is that you?" And I'm looking like, what are you talking about? Right. And they went, "Oh my gosh, your face." And then I looked and I was like, whoa. And boy, was it different. And she goes, "I'll be right back." And she goes to let's see. Yeah, now you really lifted it up.
Yeah, I did.
There you have it. Yep. So guys, so what happened then was this lady, and I'm telling you, she had to be like 82, 84 years old. She takes off, and next thing I hear these tap, 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 and we're in a country club. These women are running out of the pool, all in their 70s and 80s with their suits on, dripping wet, and going, "We got to see her face. She sold like 14 of these things right there just by sitting there. She goes, "Mike, I only did one side of my face." And then when I looked at her, I was like, whoa, because I see her all the time, and there was a huge difference, just like you just did with her eyebrow now. She lifted that thing way up. So yeah, that's it, guys. It's simple. It's simple. It's simple. And I want to do these every week, or as much as Lisa can jump on with me, and we can do these. And you know what?
Love it.
When you guys keep bringing people to this and this and this is the first one. So what do we got? We got 16 people here. Well, how about you get somebody here to watch this next week? You got 32. Next thing you're going to have 5,000 people, and this thing's going to go absolutely ballistic. I'm going to tell you something. With this being the only product in the marketplace that is 100% chemical free and 100% toxic free, oh my gosh, I'm going to tell you what. This alone could take a company into $1 billion. This is $1 billion market right here. Just this. And when you can say permanent skin rejuvenation that will not revert because it's backed with all the clinicals and stuff, who can do that? I can tell you, nobody. Santi Organics. So with that, thank you, Lisa. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. If you have any questions, reach out to the person that brought you here. Lisa's only going to get better at this. You know what? This is crazy. We'll be seeing this. We'll be seeing a progression over the next few weeks, and just be like, "Whoa, I got to start doing it over here now." Right?
Right.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time. We're so
Thank you.
All right, thankful. And thank you all for joining us tonight. This will be posted in the Asante Difference community. That's where I'm going to post it. So you guys can get people there. Everybody wants to belong to a nice private community. Trust me, where there's no crazy going on, right? And that's what we do in there. And then we teach and we enhance and all these things. So we'll be in there. Thank you for joining us. God bless you. God bless your families.
Oops.
We will see you again
All right.
next
Good
week.
night. Thank
with
you.
Lisa. Have a
Bye-bye.
good day. Good night, everybody.